What's going on, ladies and gents? Thank you for tuning in another episode of Fourth Quarter Quarrel. Thank you so much for tuning in and being part of the discussion. We got a full house tonight. Joining me are my boys. We got Timothy. We got the objectively biased one, Mr. Steven. We got from Detroit, Mr. Kyle. We got the horseshoe man, Mr. Luck, aka Jason. And we got Steeler Nation, Brian, the other college football prospect, along with Steven. So we're going to be getting into it. We got a lot of over and unders to cover today. We're going to be covering the AFC East teams. So if you're a fan, you're going to want to listen up. We got some shit to tell you. But to start it off, let's get into a couple topics just to get loose, get the vocal cords going. So one of the things we wanted to start off with here is, where do I have it? It is right here. We're going to start off talking about quarterback tiers. How do you view quarterback tiers? Do you rank just the three quarterbacks in the top? Are there 5 or 6 that you bunch in there? Do you rank them by elite franchise, replaceable? So, Brian, I wanted you to start off. This was a great topic you wanted to discuss, and you actually had a nice discussion going with Tim in the group. For those that are not involved yet in the Facebook group, just search up Fourth Quarter Quarrel and submit a request to join and join us in the discussion every single day. So, Brian, start it off. Get us loose with the quarterback tiers.
So the quarterback tiers is something me and my partner on college football crime, Fog Meg, did last year in our show on Combine 360. We ranked our tiers pretty much tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. And the way we did it was we pretty much said tier 1 were the elite of the elite. You know, tier 2 were the franchise quarterbacks, the guys who either are going to be franchise quarterbacks or are already franchise quarterbacks that can turn into being elite. I personally, Fog Meg and I don't believe that franchise quarterbacks are always elite quarterbacks. They're just guys who are supplanted there right now and can be there for a while. Tier 3 are the starters, the guys who, are the solid starters who are there, but at any moment kind of teeter-totter. They can become franchise quarterbacks if they make that jump, or they can take a step backwards and become a guy. Tier 4, which is replaceable. Guys who are right now who are replaceable through the draft, free agency, guys who are just kind of waiting for their contracts to run out, and then the team's going to draft another quarterback or go get another guy. So that's how I personally rank my tiers. So I did my homework a little bit. I'm going to start with tier 1. I'll have 2 quarterbacks in tier 1 right now, and this is not going to be. And honestly, they've been the tier 1 guys for a while. I actually dropped one this year in my tier 2, but let me start with my tier 1. I want to ask everybody else who is in their tier 1s really quickly. I'll have 2 guys in my tier 1 right now. My elite quarterbacks in the league today, right? Tier 1, my guy is Tom Brady. All right, it's the greatest quarterback of all time. The 6-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time MVP, 3-time Super Bowl MVP. Tom Brady. I don't really know how else you can go other way without Tom Brady. My number 2 guy, my only other elite quarterback in the league right now is Aaron Rodgers. Basically because Aaron Rodgers is the guy who has been carrying his team for a long time. I personally believe that Aaron Rodgers is the only reason why the Green Bay Packers are relevant now, today. He's carried that team for a long time. And I think we can all agree that Aaron Rodgers is what makes that team go, and he has been for a while. Despite what you believe of his personality, I know he's not the greatest guy. I would never go get a beer with Aaron Rodgers. He seems like he's one of those guys who would be kind of a down to go out to get a beer with. But despite his personality, I'm going Rodgers. Rodgers and Brady are the only tier 1 elite quarterbacks in the league right now. I know there's a guy that everybody wants me to mention, but he's in my tier 2. But I will let you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it to my boy Fog Meg. And Fog Meg, who are your elite tier 1 quarterbacks right now in the NFL?
Well, you gave 2 of them. Clearly, Aaron Rodgers is 1 and Brady is 2. And the third guy, you and I have faithfully disagreed on. But look, Drew Brees has done his part in carrying the New Orleans Saints franchise. It's just he's done it in the same fashion that Aaron Rodgers has carried the Green Bay Packers. And when you look at it statistically, it's you can't deny it. And then you look at the impact that he had. I know there's sentimental value to what he brought to that franchise, especially bringing him a Super Bowl championship. But, his impact as well on the game as an overall passer and his impact on that city and that franchise is tremendous. So going outside of the statistical aspect of it as well, Breeze, Rodgers and Brady are the three, in my opinion, unquestioned elite quarterbacks in the league right now.
All right, Kyle. Who do you got? Who are your tier one elite quarterbacks in the league right now?
Oh boy.
I mean, probably the same ones as Fogmate just mentioned. I don't see much deviation from that. It's kind of it.
So hold on. You guys seriously think there's just 3 quarterbacks in the top tier? There's 32 damn quarterbacks, and you're only putting 3 in the top tier. You're not going to put. To me, I believe 6 at least belong in the top tier. I believe Russell Wilson belongs there. I believe Andrew Luck belongs in the top tier. And I think Matt Ryan also belongs in the top tier.
Okay, so I asked that. Okay, so the reason why this is so subjective, because I feel like everybody has different opinions on what elite is. Do I think Andrew Luck is an elite quarterback today? No, he's not an elite quarterback today. He's very close, and he was at that point until he went down with that shoulder injury. He sat out a whole year, and he kind of has to come back. He had a great comeback here. Don't get me wrong, comeback club player of the year. But I'm not gonna sit here and say he's the elite of the elite. I can't say he's an elite quarterback now. Russell Wilson is kind of the same situation. You know, I know Russell got his big money. I know Russell Wilson has a Super Bowl. I understand that he's pretty much been everything for that Seahawks team. I get that. But again, it's kind of how long has he been carrying this team? You know, Russell Wilson.
Give me a couple examples of your tier 2 quarterbacks real quick. Not all, just give me a few examples.
Brady?
No, just tier 2. You put Brady in tier 2?
My tier 2.
Yeah, tier 2, just a few examples.
I didn't hear tier 2. Tier 2, my guy, I got Breeze in my tier 2, and I got Mahomes in my tier 2. Breeze, Mahomes in my tier 2 right now.
I can get that, but
how many tiers do you got?
I got 4.
Oh.
I got 4 tiers. I got 4 tiers.
That's a lot of quarterbacks at that tier 3.
There's a lot. Hey, there's a lot. There's a lot in tier 3.
Second and third tier make up the gist of the league.
Yeah, second, 2 and 3 make up the gist of the league. I mean, tier 1 and tier 2 are your franchise and elite. I thought about putting Rivers in my tier 2, but I feel like he's dropped down a little bit, and he's in my tier 3 now. I don't know. He's dropped down to that point, but
see, when I think of tier 2, I think of the Ben, Eli, Rivers, Goff, Newton, Flacco. I can't lump in Wilson, Ryan, and Luck with those type of quarterbacks. I think they're elevated above those quarterbacks.
I got Ben in tier 2. I don't know.
In terms of overall play and consistency, I don't know. That's just hard for me to just have the 3 in the top tier.
I got 7 tiers. Let you guys know.
7?
How you said 7?
7
He's
tiers.
like really good, kind of good, or sort of good.
Yeah, I guess
good.
When it's my time, I'll let you know my 7.
Yeah,
Josh. Here's the thing: when I look at franchise quarterbacks, I'm looking at guys again in that tier 2 section that have the potential to be elite quarterbacks. So guys like Matt Ryan, guys like Andrew Luck, and Russell Wilson. They're Phillip Rivers. These guys are franchise or were franchise quarterbacks carrying their teams and have the potential to wind up being in that elite conversation. Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan, much closer. I think Phillip Rivers has reached. I think he's a franchise quarterback. I think he's topped off. I don't believe he's an elite quarterback in the league because when you measure him up to what his contemporaries have done, it's a little more difficult to put him in that status with Rodgers, with Breeze, with Brady. But there's guys in that elite category, like Brian was saying, Luck in particular and Wilson in particular, who can actually be elite quarterbacks.
Right? They still have time.
They've still got a lot of time. Even Matt Ryan still has time. Matt Ryan puts together a solid playoff and wins a Super Bowl. All of a sudden, the conversation is going to shift into the direction that I've been fucking screaming about Matt Ryan for the last 2 years, that he is a potential.
Well, he still is. He just gets no credit. If you look at his stats compared to his MVP season in 2016, identical, if not better.
Oh no, he was much better than his MVP season, but because the team
and he gets no love for it either. Yeah, so
he caught no love. But again, it's that vicious cycle of hypocrisy that sports fans have developed when they're rating quarterbacks. They decide, they pick and choose what to latch onto when it's a person they like, or a player they don't like, or a team they like, or a team they don't like. That's the issue. There's a lot of subjectivity and a complete lack of objectivity when it comes to having that conversation.
I'm going to get back to Matt Ryan a little bit because I have a reason why he has not been looked at an elite quarterback. I think I have a pretty solid reason why. But I want to hear Jason. I want to hear what Jason has to say. What his elite quarterback, or what tiers mean. What tiers mean to him, and where does his elite quarterback stand?
Yeah, let's hear your tier 1, Jason. Tim, you too. Tier 1 and your tier 2, Kyle as well. Let's listen to what the tier, because I kind of have an idea we're going to be in agreement for the most part.
Right, for tier 1 and 2.
Tier 2.
Yeah.
But where they're placed and why.
All right. So going back, picking back off what Brian said about as far as how he measures his tiers. You said that tier 2 is elite quarterback, but not franchise.
Tier 2s are franchise quarterbacks.
They're franchise quarterback. They're not elite. Okay.
No.
Okay. And franchise and tier 1s are elite. I'm gonna disagree with that as far as not putting Andrew Luck in tier 1 and also Matt Ryan. And yes, I am a Colts fan, but yes, I have some strong. I'm pleading my case here. Andrew Luck came in, was probably one of the most hyped quarterbacks, right? When Peyton Manning went down, okay, Andrew Luck was supposed to be the heir to Peyton Manning, and then he had all the hype, and rightfully so. He was a great quarterback coming out of college. Now, I have here a little stat. The first Andrew Luck compared to Peyton Manning, and as far as like the 100 touchdowns club, right? So here's a little stat that I put out. And I put this up before, and there was a question about this before in the other group. 100 touchdown passes comparison, both what the stats look like. Andrew Luck had 284 passing attempts compared to Peyton Manning's 1,922 passing attempts. Luck played 55 games. Manning played 56 games. Luck threw 55 interceptions. Peyton Manning threw 68 interceptions. Luck had 34 wins, and Peyton Manning had 30 wins. Now, let's put that into context here for a second. Okay. Peyton Manning had a way better supporting cast than Andrew Luck. All right. The first 100 touchdown pass, the first 6 seasons. I mean, in fact, actually, he's always had a better supporting cast than Andrew Luck. Always. Right. Until maybe possibly, we'll see what happens this year, but Luck has never had a great supporting cast. And his first 3 seasons, he came into the league. He was pretty much carrying that team, basically. I consider him like LeBron James carrying Cleveland when he went to the finals in 2007. That's basically what Andrew Luck was to the Colts, right? Now they bring in a new coaching regime, the coaching staff. They bring in players. Now he has a little bit more support. First year, playoffs. Second year, second round. Third year, the AFC Championship. All right, this is with no support. And he took them all the way to the AFC Championship. Now, does he have some things that he might need to clean up a little bit? Yeah, maybe he can tone down the interceptions. Maybe that could be an issue. But I think sometimes to do too much, but that's fine. But I think that when you think about a franchise quarterback, you want a guy that you're gonna put on your team's back and carry to a team. That's exactly what an elite quarterback's supposed to be. So I think he's a tier 1. Before last season, when he went down, I had him kind of like a tier 1.5, like in between 2 and 1. But after last season, I definitely think he's tier 1. Yeah, I think he's probably what you could make a case that he could have been the MVP if it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes, right? So I think Luck is a tier 1. Also, Russell Wilson. I think Wilson, his path to elite status is a little bit different than Luck. He started out with a little bit more supporting cast. He had a good defense behind him. He was more of a managing quarterback a little bit, and he started to kind of take over as the career progresses. These guys put their teams on their back, basically, especially last year with Russell Wilson. Like the beginning of the season, they were just getting killed. Like no protection, not a great running game. I mean, he still put that team on his back and took them to the playoffs. And I get the numbers might not really be great, but I mean, as far as like the measuring stick for both these quarterbacks, as far as elite and carrying their teams, that's exactly what you want an elite quarterback to be. So that's my tier. The other guys you guys mentioned, I agree with as well as being tier 1. But that's just my case for Wilson and Luck. So that's all I have.
I agree with the Luck. God bless you, Sutton. God bless.
Shout out to Fun Fight, man.
Hey, before I comment on before I comment on what Jason said, I want to hear what Tim's been waiting patiently. He's been on his best
Tim
behavior
says
lately.
he's got 7 heavens of tears over here.
I kind of want to know what 7 tiers he has, but I don't.
No.
7 tears.
I just don't know what you can do and say like after like 4. Like I was having trouble doing 4. Like what's next? Like backups? Like, I don't know. Hey Tim, who are your? And you know what? I'm actually afraid to ask who his tier 1 is because I swear to God, if he says who I think he's gonna say in his tier 1, I might log on. I might log on. Go ahead.
His
Yeah,
tiers
Roman retired. I won't say Roman. He's retired.
I'm not worried about Dak Prescott because Tim's smarter than that. You would put Dak in tier 1. It's the other guy I'm afraid of.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
We're ready.
I'm not.
My tier 1 guys are bona fide franchise quarterback. These are the guys that when you talk about that team, these are the headline guys. So I got, of course, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, Big Ben, Cam Newton, Pat Mahomes, and Andrew Luck. Those are my bona fide franchise quarterback. Now, but
That's
my
tier 1. I'm sorry.
Look at my tier 1.
Okay.
My tier 2s, these guys are like they're top pros. They're also proven winners, but they can always be in that conversation about being replaced. I got Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, Baker Mayfield, and Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's fairly new, but I got him as a tier 2. He's and Dak Prescott as well. My tier 3 guys. Oh, excuse me. Take out Deshaun Watson and Dak Prescott. My tier 3 guys, this is where Dak Prescott and Deshaun Watson fall them. These are rising stars, along with Carson Wentz, Sam Darnold, and Jimmy Garoppolo, and Jared Goff. My tier 4 guys, these are guys that you can win with them. They're not special or nothing like that. They're very solid starters. Kirk Cousins, Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr, Jameis Winston, Nick Foles, Mitch Trubisky. As we all know, Nick Foles is a good backup. He's solid. He's capable. He showed those little games where he can do to win. So again, these guys you can win with them. Nothing special. My tier 5. These are veterans, placeholders, guys that right now we do polls on how many starts they're gonna get. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Andy Dalton, Joe Flacco, Marcus Mariota. My tier 6 guys, these are the guys I say good luck to them. Eli Manning and Case Keenum. Good luck to your teams if you have these guys. My tier 7, these are my last tier. These are the verdict is out. Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, and Josh Allen. Those are my 7 tiers.
The verdict is out on those guys? Like meaning what? What do you mean? Like they're being figured out already or what?
Well, the verdict. What I mean by the verdict is out is we
Not
don't know about
size.
them enough yet. We don't know anything about them yet. How much?
So you mean the verdict is not out then?
Not out. Pardon me.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. We haven't seen Kyler Murray snapping. Okay.
This is my good luck tier.
My good luck tier. The good luck tier was funny though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Listen.
Interesting.
Very interesting. You know, I don't think you need 7 tiers to really. I get it. I get why you did it.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with tiering. I guarantee that all of us are going to differ slightly. See, me, when I look at these tiers, I also keep in mind what these guys are being paid as well. So I think if you're grossly overpaid and the production's not there, I really can't put you in tier 2 or a tier 1.
So where's Kirk Cousins? Just say it, dude. Just say it.
Oh, Kirk Cousins tier 3.
Tier 3. Yeah, he's a starter. He's a starter. He's a guy that can play for you.
He's a starter, but he's grossly overpaid.
He's grossly overpaid.
You don't deserve this, dude. Don't listen to them.
All right,
Listening to us.
All right, check it out. So like I said, tier 1. These are established, bona fide. These guys truly run the team. Brady's Breeze Rodgers. That's it, right? That's all, right? I can see a case for Wilson. I can see a case for Luck. However, I don't like my quarterbacks leading the league in interceptions like Luck has.
Exactly. Right.
But it is what it is. People will say Brett Favre threw a ton of picks, but he also threw a ton of touchdowns, but still don't like that. Don't really like turnover machines, calling them tier 1 quarterbacks. Something wrong with that for me.
Efficiency.
Tier 2, I think these guys, whether they're on rookie deals or whether they're on veteran deals, I think they're justifying their money. I'm not mad at it. And they're guys you could win with. So that's Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Andrew Luck, Ben Roethlisberger, Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott. Got no problem. No problem. Tier 3, like I said, these are guys who it's hit and miss, but I think they may be grossly overpaid for one reason or another. Joe Flacco, Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Matt Stafford, right? These are my tier 3 guys. You may or may not win with them, but if you look at their contract and look in terms of value, it's just not there. These are guys that were in the right place at the right time. Especially with Flacco when he went on that playoff run. Yeah, right place, right time.
Mm-hmm.
Tier 4 is these guys are either expendable or they're just not. They're not. They could come or go. Eli Manning, Andy Dalton, Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, Nick Foles, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Case Keenum, and Cam Newton. I think Cam Newton is totally a tier 4 quarterback. He's not a big boy passer. How many years has it been? I just don't trust the guy to throw the ball with any regularity.
How dare you? Hall of Fame.
It's a problem. Hall of Fame running back, sure. And I got nothing against that. If that's how you want to get it, that's how you want to get it. But after a while, I need to trust my quarterback to air it out a little bit. And he has been as erratic as it comes. And this is a guy who was a former number 1 overall pick, all of that. He just hasn't become a big boy passer yet. And I get all these excuses of he changes offenses a lot, the skill player. Look, Carolina has drafted in the first round skill players for the last 2 or 3 years, even in the early rounds. So they've tried to upgrade it. He had the albatross known as Devin Funchess for a while, but, so be it. He had other guys. And outside of his MVP season, after that season, he tanked horribly as a passer. I don't get it. I don't get what the hype about Cam Newton is. I think he's a tier 4 quarterback. I think the guy could be replaceable in 2 or 3 years.
Well, the problem is, Kyle, David Gettleman didn't do right by putting the proper pieces in place over there.
What type of pieces would you put for a guy for his skill set? I mean, he's a
Cam Newton
quarterback.
Right. I think Cam Newton has not been fairly evaluated because of the scheme he's in and his coaching. Cam Newton has never been with a coach who focuses on offense. Ron Rivera is a defensive guy.
Right.
Okay. Yep. He's never been with a coach who's really been focused, and even a GM who's really been focused on putting offensive talent on the field. David Gettleman is a defensive guy, obviously, right? He's a defensive guy. He put a lot of defensive pieces for the Carolina Panthers. He made a Super Bowl team. And I don't blame him. I mean, look, defense, we always say it, defense wins championships. And Cam was kind of like that perfect piece at quarterback where you could use him as the perfect dual threat quarterback. Cam's never really had, besides Steve Smith, can you really name a number 1 receiver Cam Newton has really had? And Steve Smith wasn't even a number 1 receiver really when he was there. He was kind of, I don't want to say he was on his last legs, but he wasn't the same guy when Cam got there in 2011. Wasn't even close to being the same guy.
Like Kyle said, they drafted for that position Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore. So
Curtis Samuel is kind of I like DJ Moore, by the way. I do like DJ Moore. So we'll see what he can do from Maryland. And he came on strong at the end of the year. But Curtis Samuel was kind of this like hybrid wide receiver, running back coming out of Ohio State. Didn't like where they picked him. They picked him kind of early, I believe in the 2nd round. I think he was reaching for that one. They put these like little utility backs around him and they never go out and get a number 1 targeted receiver. They got Christian McCaffrey. Don't get me wrong. I love CMC. I think he's box office. I really do. But is that what Cam Newton really needs to succeed, to preserve his body, one, and two, to be successful down the field? I think Cam Newton is actually a better passer than people give him credit for, but he's never really had the weapons. I mean, I know he's had Greg Olsen, but I have Cam Newton. I have Cam in my tier 3. I think he's a solid starter, which he has been. That has been to the Super Bowl. He didn't die for the damn ball, but that's my only gripe with Cam Newton is he didn't die for that fucking football in the Super Bowl. That was pretty much it. But other than that, I feel like Cam has been kind of unfairly evaluated because he hasn't really been given the tools to really succeed offensively, at least in the NFL.
Fog, I just want to say I didn't miss that sly and direct about Gettleman to get me going, you son of a bitch. I didn't miss that at all. No. Tim, what you got? I know, I see your hand.
First of all, I agree with Brian as far as the organization has never got the right players or went out for Cam Newton, but you got to understand something, Brian. He also has North Turner as his offensive coordinator. North Turner is a proven Super Bowl winner under franchise quarterbacks.
What talent?
Hear me out. Now, I do agree. Carolina Panthers. If Gettleman was over there, all I can say is this: when you got a quarterback like Cam Newton and you let Steve Smith go, and you try to bring in Devin Funches. Fun, whatever they call him, and he's a former tight end. They try to make him to a wide receiver to drop some way out of Michigan.
Calvin Benjamin.
Yeah, Calvin
Benjamin.
Listen, Brian, I do agree with you as far as the organization now bringing in the type of players that you want to give your franchise quarterback. But I will say that he does have a great coordinator for that offense. But you're right. You have a good coordinator. You got to bring in the players now. When I hear the excuse about Cam Newton not having a lot to work with, his character does mess with the game a little bit. He's a sore winner, he's a sore loser. Okay, he's a crybaby. He's, in my opinion, he's not a team leader. His character does affect the game because at the end of the day, he doesn't. In my opinion, he doesn't have the will to keep going like Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has nothing around him.
Wait. Can I just say one thing though?
Sure.
He took his team to the Super Bowl.
No. Okay, he went to the Super Bowl.
Whoa. Did he take his team to the Super Bowl, or did his defense take that team to the Super Bowl?
Okay. Oh, wait. Let me respond. I'm gonna keep it. Let me respond to Josh. Josh, that defense was unbelievable. You're right. It wasn't like I think the Broncos are the top.
Do you remember his receivers that year? When
I don't.
Devin Funches and
I don't.
No, it was Ted Ginn and Corey
Ted
Brown.
Ginn Jr.
Ted Ginn and Corey Brown. Those were his receivers. And you don't remember him doing shit with those receivers because that's why the defense was making all that noise that year.
Cam Newton was the offense.
But Fun was on that team.
Yeah, Fun was on that team. Fun was on that team.
Fun was on that team. When they went to Super Bowl, he was on that team.
And Olsen.
Wait. Talk about. Jason, who's that team?
Fun was on that team when they went to Super Bowl, was it? I
Who
think he was.
Fun?
Well,
Devin Funches.
Are you kidding me?
First of all,
Jason, are you saying Devin Funches is like a
no
good player?
No, you asked the question who was on that team. I'm saying Funches was on that team as well.
So you're proving my point that he had no receivers.
Jason,
listen.
Yes, Fun was on that team with 31 receptions in 2015.
What are you talking about here?
I'm so confused. Fun's a legend, dude. Where have you been?
Brian, you can honestly say that he's not a good team leader. He's a soul winning a soul. He'll celebrate off of one touchdown. Another player will get a touchdown. He's gonna grab the ball and he give it to the fans. Give it to the little boy or girl coming down. But the minute they lose, he doesn't have the attitude to tell his teammates, "Let's go." He points fingers and he puts his head down and go into poetry motion. I cannot look at you guys right now at the moment with the loss of this team, X, Y, and Z. It's bullshit.
What does that have to do with the team not surrounding him with talent?
Because here's the thing, Brian. Sometimes a team will not want to play with somebody who does not know how to act like a leader. Like
No,
Steve
come
said
on.
before.
Come
Steve
on,
said
dog.
before he went on.
So,
Listen, I feel the
No,
only quarterback I
that's a
feel bad
reach.
for in this NFL today is Russell Wilson. The man is a
reach.
leader. He keeps going, even without Legion of Doom. You got young guys up in that team looking up to him and fight hard for him. He made the playoffs without Legion of Doom or Boom. Whatever.
Brian's calling you out on an energy check, Tim.
Come on,
I really am because Russell Wilson, he won his Super Bowl based off one of the best defenses we've ever seen.
Okay, but did he make the playoff last year with a young group, a young crew?
He made the playoffs with the number one rushing. He won the playoffs with the number one rushing attack in the NFL. One of them.
Here's probably that logic. Russell Wilson has grown up and become a big boy passer over the years. Cam Newton hasn't. It's simple.
But
that is why.
Who is Cam Newton throwing the football to? Me?
Russell Wilson throwing it
Russell Wilson is the person that made his receiver.
Russell Wilson made his receiver.
Who was Doug Baldwin before Russell Wilson?
Doug Baldwin was
Who
there.
was Paul Richardson before Russell Wilson?
Paul
Richardson got paid because of Russell Wilson.
Who's Jermaine Kearse?
Hey, listen, that brings me right into my point about all these tiers. You see, your tier 1 and tier 2 quarterbacks have the ability to, even if you trot out their less subpar talented receiver, they can get it done. Your tier 3 and tier 4 can't. It's as simple as that.
Plus, Wilson has no line either. I mean, for the past how many years, and he's still balling out without it.
That's like a tier 1 quarterback.
In my opinion, it is, Jason.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
His left tackle is Bucci Amafafafui, 7th round pick.
What is that, Latin, Tim?
I don't know, Latin or French or something.
I
will say that the Knicks draft pick this year.
I'll say that Russell Wilson is a better passer. He's become Russell Wilson's always been a better passer than Cam Newton, even when he's at Wisconsin. He's always been a better passer than Cam Newton. But I'll say this much. Here's what I'll say with Russell Wilson. Okay, he came into a situation that was already tailor-made for him. Okay, it was perfect for him to grow. Right, Cam Newton came into a shitty situation in Carolina. There's a reason why he was number 1 overall pick, people. There's a reason why. There's a reason why he was the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Right, the Carolina Panthers. Look, they built that defense around Cam Newton, and they expected him to carry, the offense, which he did, to the Super Bowl. Right? Cam Newton did exactly what Russell Wilson did, right, and carry the offense, like you guys are saying, right now, Russell Wilson's carrying the offense, right? Cam Newton he's done that the last few years and took his team to the Super Bowl. He lost, right? But
more with his legs, right?
Can you say Russell Wilson has done that yet?
Brian, he has carried his
to the Super Bowl. To the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think the second year with the Patriots versus the Patriots.
Stop.
Yeah, I believe that
was still one of the best defenses.
No,
that was still one of the Tim.
Wait, what was the score of that game? Because the defense gave up a touchdown. That was matter of fact, that was the same playoff game, same playoff series against Carolina when you got Cam Chancellor and Richard Sherman arguing about coverage. They were terrible that year.
What year were they terrible?
That year they went against the Patriots.
They were one of the best defenses in the NFL.
All right,
stop it.
I won't say terrible. There was not the same type of defense they was when they went against Denver.
When you're the greatest defense of all time 1 year, you're probably gonna take a notch down, but naturally. right?
Brian. These guys were getting older. They were injured more. Remember, Cam Chancellor was still hurt. Earl Thomas, I believe, went injured that year as well. They were not the same. They were still.
I understand.
They
were still an elite. Would you say they were still an elite defense?
No.
Couple more minutes, fellas.
They were not elite defense.
Yeah, I can't agree. I can agree with that.
In my opinion,
Russell Wilson had.
In my opinion, to be an elite defense, you got to join the defense like the '85 Bears. No. An
elite defense of today. An elite defense relative to that time, not all time.
No,
I don't agree. That's crazy. 2014 Seahawks were one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Here's what I'm talking about supporting cast and things of that sort. Yeah, it's good that you want to take that into consideration, but Cam Newton isn't the GM. Russell Wilson isn't the GM. Are we penalizing Russell Wilson for having a competent GM and coach?
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all.
He-
We're blaming him for
I'm
ruining
He's
future
had
children.
structural like instability. So
I mean-
fucking what? You're the #1 overall pick. You got to rise above it. And if you don't, so be it.
This is where you guys aren't being fair. It's not the NBA. Okay, where one guy can control the whole team.
No,
Okay, it's not the NBA. It's football.
The character's no good.
What?
His character.
So Cam Newton's supposed to throw and catch.
No.
What are we talking about here?
Brian, the thing is this: Cam Newton is not the type of guy to want to stay after practice and work with his teammate in X, Y, and Z. Listen, let's do this guy.
I don't even care about all that because you don't even know that. So I can't even like defend that because I don't know if he's done that. So you can't definitively say that. Because you don't know what Cam Newton be doing at the practice.
Listen, the only thing we see about Cam Newton that I see all the time, that his fashion, his baby mamas, not no disrespect, his baby mamas.
Come on, Tim.
Okay.
This is why I can't debate. Hey, next topic, man. Like,
I mean, keep it real.
That's nothing to do with Cam Newton not having any help.
I guarantee you, if Russell Wilson was a Carolina Panther today, it's a different team.
All right, fellas, we're gonna move it on. We gotta hit.
You have multiple baby mamas.
We gotta hit the over/unders for the night.
No. I say here. I said the only thing you hear about Cam Newton doing here.
I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Over/under time, fellas.
Oh my God.
We are gonna start the goddamn over/unders for the night.
Wait a second. Wasn't there another topic?
No, those were the two we were covering. Oh, wait. Holy shit. You guys took that long. Holy. Thanks a lot, Tim. 7 tiers. Look at this.
No,
all right.
It wasn't
I'm totally joking around. We do have one more topic. Wow, that took up a bit of time. Here, we have to cover this segment real quick.
Yeah, man. It's Tim's fault, man.
Always blaming the black guy. Damn. This is crazy.
Fellas, this shouldn't really take too long to cover. Who's been the most hyped up prospect coming out of college football in like the past 20 years? Who can you really relate that's had maybe the Zion effect that's happening right now? Anybody in the past 20 years that can relate. And the Suck for Luck campaign is the only thing that was as strong as I can remember in the past 10 years. I'm trying to think about 20 years.
I would say
I don't know if this,
but the media coverage wasn't vast back then. So
I would say that yes, you're right. The media coverage wasn't vast back when. I'm gonna say. But I swear, when Reggie Bush was coming out of USC, I promise you, I have never seen the hype. Come on. This guy was in commercials. This guy was in music videos. He had his own Sports Center special just breaking down his game. Like I've never seen that before from a running back at that. Like
that's true.
Reggie was the and especially the couple that he played in Los Angeles, USC. Like, so for me, it'll be between Reggie Bush, honestly, and Michael Vick. But I'm going to say Reggie Bush because Reggie Bush played in USC and Vick only played at Tech. So, but I'll say Reggie Bush.
Yeah, remind me was the commercial with Vick, was that after or before he was drafted? When he was in the stadium, I think it was a Gatorade commeral and he threw it outside of the stadium.
That was after he was drafted.
Was it after? Okay, I couldn't recall.
He wasn't playing yet.
He had a lot of hype surrounding his ass too.
A lot of hype, yeah.
But yeah, Andrew Luck is probably the biggest that I can remember. Everyone was just hyping him over even his accolades and being a Stanford and being an engineer or design engineer, science. What is?
Yeah, he was a smart dude. I don't know what the hell he did.
Architect, some shit, whatever it was.
As a tier 1, he's lived up to that hype.
Tier 1, he's tier 1 Andrew Luck. We're talking about right now.
Tier 1 Andrew Luck. Get it right, people. Tier 1 Andrew Luck.
Stop it. No, he's not.
He's not tier 1. He's franchise quarterback. He's tier 2. Not there yet.
Fellas, just to have some order for this over/under.
20 picks and be a friend. Get out of here.
Peyton Manning threw 28 picks in 1 year.
That was his rookie year.
Even still,
his rookie year.
Peyton Manning has some was hyped up a lot too when I was at the draft.
He was.
He went number 1.
Actually, I think Ryan Leaf was more hyped than him. I think was he?
I think they're kind of equal. Ryan
Leaf was more hyped than Peyton Manning. I think
they
people thought Ryan Leaf was better than Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And the only person I could think of, I don't know if this is Zion level, but I want to say Orlando Pace. I think
Yeah,
I think he didn't allow a sack in like what two seasons, and like he was actually like fourth in like Heisman vote, something like that, fourth or fifth Heisman vote. I mean, but I don't know if that was Zion level, but still, it was pretty hyped up.
How about Keyshawn Johnson, number 1 to the Jets?
Nah,
I
got one for y'all. I got one for you guys. How about Jadeveon Clowney?
That was
Clowney was
He just kept showing his hit on Denard Robinson over and over.
Clowney was hype. Man, I can't remember a guy.
It's crazy how a guy who, I mean, he was the number one prospect out of high school, already kind of this freak of nature, but that one hit against Michigan in that bowl game catapulted him in
Denard Robinson,
And I think that's a good one because that's when the talk about should these guys sit out.
Right, he was when
it started.
That's when it started. With him.
That was such an iconic hit, too. I can still remember being at the bar seeing that clown hit. Where were you when the hit happened on Shoelace Robinson?
My pick, it's easy. It happened this year. Kyler Murray. I have never seen so much hype around a guy who we were trying to see if he was 5'9" or 5'10".
Socks, no socks. Is he using max?
A guy who had numerous stories about him, like, is he going to hold the Oakland Athletic? Is he holding them hostage? Like, he had this
Murray's up there.
School, baseball, and then you got into the debate of, well, is he going to make more money as a baseball player or a football player? Which I still think people get confused. I think he's going to make way more money in football, and he made the right choice there. But no, Kyler Murray by far in the last 20 years, for a guy who hasn't swung a bat in the pros or thrown a pass in the pros, like, it's like he got hyped out of this the stratosphere. I didn't get it myself, but hey.
Well, I say the guy with the most headlines, if anything, was Daniel Jones. Even just for where he was picked at. I think that was all over the place.
Controversy isn't really hype though. So
that was more of a controversial pick.
All right, let's do over unders. We're getting a little bit late into the night, fellas. So let's try to breeze through these. Give us quick few sentences about your pick. But we're gonna do the AFC East tonight. We got the Patriots, Jets, Bills, and Dolphins for you folks. So just to keep some order in this over under, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna make the lineup right here on the Google Hangout. It's gonna go Tim, Fox, Kyle, Jason, and Brian, and I'll just start off right as I launch the banner. So the very first one we got is the Golden Boy. It's going to be all about Mr. Tom Brady. And is Tom Brady going to have 4,300 passing yards? Well, here's my opinion. I'm not going to include the 2016 season that Tom's played. 2012 through 2018, Brady's averaged about 4,496. We'll round it up, 4,500 yards. In the past 5 years, he's had 7.6 yards per attempt average. So even if he only has 570 attempts like he did just last season, he should see well over the 4,300 mark, in my opinion. I am taking the over. Tim, what the hell you got for me, brother?
Only 3 times he didn't pass for over 4,300 yards. Only 3 times in his career. But I like the way the AFC had got stronger on defense. And just because Tom Brady is getting older, you got new pieces, but some of the pieces he has on offense are older as well. Despite Sony Michel and you got Kiri Neal, I'm gonna go with the under.
Fox.
God, I'm gonna agree with Tim on this, but not for the reasons that he said. Josh, you gave great numbers and statistics, and I love it. I'm a stats man myself, but here's something that people don't realize. He threw for 4,355 last year, and that team was a 54% pass to a 46% rush. The year before, he threw for, I think, over 47, and they were 59% pass, 41% rush. Damian Harris, Sony Michel, Julian Edelman being a possession receiver. I truly believe that this team is in let's preserve Tommy Terrific and they're going to continue that balance, and that balance is going to contribute to Tom Brady throwing for under 4,300 yards. Not that 4,000 yards, because I think he could throw for 4,000 yards. It isn't anything to scoff at, but I think let's preserve Tommy at this point because of his age and the direction that they've gone with the personnel that they're bringing on board means he might throw for less than 4,300 yards this year.
All right, Kyle, what you got for us, brother?
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna be quick with all of these, but I'm gonna say under for the same very reason. I think this team is gonna be pretty run heavy, given how they've loaded up at running back over the last 2 or 3 years. I think they've been preparing for this, so under. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he's under 4,000.
Damn. Okay, Jason, what you got?
Yeah, I agree with what Fogman and Kyle said. I think they've turned into a very heavy style running team, and Tom's getting old, man. I mean, listen, it's gonna happen. We keep wondering when is it gonna happen? When is he gonna like take that big step back? It's gonna happen. Inevitably, it's gonna happen because age is undefeated, no matter what. I mean, he's still great, but I just think that the way that they're set up now is set up for him to kind of not throw the ball as much, but kind of run a little bit better. So I'm gonna say under.
Brian?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Can't push you. I can't say he's gonna throw for 4,300, right? I'm gonna say slightly under. I think he's gonna almost hit it. For pretty much the same reasons why everybody said it. They have turned into a run heavy. They are gonna turn into a run heavy team. I think they got the steal of the draft and drafting Damian Harris at Alabama. I can't believe teams let Damian Harris go to the New England Patriots. And then obviously they got Sonny Michel, who's a great pass catcher, and then they got James White, who we're going to get to in a little bit. So they got a trio of running backs back there. But I still think this is, even though I think it's going to be a more of a run heavy team with the loss of Gronk, obviously, I still think Tom Brady's going to get his yards. I feel like he's still going to get those big chunks. I think Edelman's going to get his yak. I'm not really sure who's on. I think, if man, what's the guy's name? He got suspended. I forget his name. He's coming back. Man, I forgot his name. I'm sorry.
Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon. Yeah. If he gets back, I mean, I'm not really sure his future, but if he comes back, he'll have his deep threat target. So I think he's gonna be under, but I don't think he's gonna be. Okay. I think he's gonna be slightly under.
All right. And for the folks out there, we got 3 for each team, just so you know you're not twiddling your thumbs and waiting for 16 or something for everybody. But second out of 3 for the Patriots, we got Julian Edelman having 1,100 receiving yards on the year. Now, Julian, he's only eclipsed 1,100 one time in his career. That was in 2016. He came close in 13, but only 2 years that he's played 16 games in his career. He averages about 12.7 games a year if you're really calculating it out. Missed all of 17. I don't believe he eclipses 1,100 again. You got Demaryius Thomas and N'Keal Harry over there that are going to take the targets along. I believe Philip Dorsett, that's going to have an increased role over there as well. That's also why I believe Tom Brady's going to have the 4,300 from the last one. So I'm taking the under here on Edelman with 1,100. Tim, what do you got?
Under. It's a good crowded wide receiver corps, especially when Josh Gordon comes back. So under.
Josh, you hit the nail on the head. All the reasons. You got Demaryius Thomas. They drafted Harry and Keel. You still got James White there. Philip Dorsett. The one thing they do is spread the ball around, and they spread it around very well. And again, you emphasized it. Edelman has broken 1,000 yards receiving twice in his entire career. I'm taking the under.
Under by far.
There you go, Jason.
Under. Easy.
Yeah, I think he's going to be under too. I still think he can hit 1,000. I like he can get his yak, but I think he's going to hit under.
We got James White having 90.5 receptions. He had 87 last year before that, averaged 52 receptions the past 3 seasons, but he led the Pats in targets last year. I don't know if anybody knows that, with 123. He was above Edelman, who had 108, and above Gronk, who only had 72. Again, with the addition of that personnel, though, you got to be able to spread the ball around. I think it's under for James White in the 90.5. Timmy?
I got under, sir. Same reasons. You got to spread that ball around.
All right.
Yeah, got to go under. Hell no. And You mentioned the targets, Josh. I'll give you something else.
There you go. Let's see it.
From weeks 1 to week 10, he took 60% of the snaps. Look at his statistics from weeks 1 to week 10. That was when he was the most valuable. That's when he recorded the majority of the receptions that he got and the majority of touchdowns that he got. From weeks 11 to week 16, when they finally were able to incorporate Sony Michel off of the injury and Rex Burkhead off of the injury, 40% of the snaps, 16% on special teams. James White, 90, under.
Damn. There you go. Kyle.
The one thing I've learned about Belichick is that some teams like to switch up the philosophy every year. Belichick does it every game. So it's hard to really tell and hard to really grasp how much work any guy in the backfield is going to get. For that, under.
Nice. Okay. Jason.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what Kyle said. I think another thing too is teams are gonna study. They're gonna try to take that away because he had such a huge impact last season. Well, in that offense, I don't think teams are gonna allow that. And I think, of course, Belichick is gonna adapt and they're gonna do something a little bit different. So I don't think he's gonna get the same targets. So definitely under.
And then Brian for the cleanup.
Yeah, I think it's going to be under as well. I think everyone kind of hit the nail on the head when they said Bill Belichick like switch it up. But I think that could maybe even work in James White's favor because he may be the hot hand, and then maybe some injuries, and then he might get the carries again. So I don't know. I mean, it's very, very hard. It's very, very difficult to kind of know what Bill Belichick is going to do. 1 minute James White could have 1 catch, and next minute he can have 15 one game. So I don't know. It's hard, but I will say that just based off the number of running backs they have back there and pass catchers they have already, I think it's going to be under 90 catches.
Absolutely. All right. And before we move on to the Jets, Spooning, I think you were holding up a sign, but I wasn't able to read that. You were holding it more closer to your monitor than you were your webcam. You mind holding that back up for the audience real quick before we move on to the Jets here? Jets fans are eagerly waiting. Mike McCagnon news just made them very depressed. All right, you get that sign ready. I'll move on to the next one. We got Le'Veon Bell, has 9.5 rushing touchdowns. Well, guys, Bell had a monster 321 rushing attempts when he was in the league last time, and that was back in 2017. He only improved his best rushing count by 1 with 9. Before that, it was 8. So I'll always argue that the Steelers got a better O-line than the Jets currently do. And the Jets, what did they have last year? Total team rushing touchdowns? 11. So you think Bell's going to come over and count for 95% of the Jets' total rushing touchdowns and also break his own personal record? No, that's not happening. Under for Le'Veon.
Well, Josh, this one was kind of tough because of the recent news about the coaching issue with the New York Jets. But I'm gonna stick with my answer and go over. I think he'll be the bell cow.
I'm going under. And for all the reasons Josh mentioned, 2016, 2017, 2014, 261, 321, 290 carries, 9, 8, and 7 touchdowns, never reached double-digit touchdowns, and he's going to a team that was literally 26 and 27 in rushing. And again, 11 touchdowns as a team. No, listen, he's definitely going to be under.
Kyle?
Yeah, under. I think Adam Gase, as a head coach, wants to throw the ball a little more and feature Sam Darnold. If anything, Le'Veon Bell may have double-digit receiving touchdowns, but not rushing touchdowns.
All right, Jason.
Yeah, I'm gonna say under. Actually, I think they still have some holes on the offensive line. I don't see him being the workload. I think teams are gonna hone in on that, and I don't think he's gonna get that many be as successful in that offense. So,
what you got, Brian?
I'm actually gonna say over. I think I kind of agree with Tim. I think they're going to use him. I mean, they're going to use what's left of him. I don't understand why you wouldn't. I think they can use him in goal line situations. And I think he's gonna just get over 10. I can see that. I think he's gonna have it, and it's kind of a proven year for him. He's gonna want to prove that, hey, I can still play. So he's gonna be asking and begging for that football around the 4 or 5 yard line and try to punch it in there. But I do agree with Kyle. I could see him actually getting double digit receiving touchdowns too. But I think he's going to get his touchdowns this year. I think he wants to prove that he can still play.
For sure.
One thing to note: he hasn't played football in a year, so
and that could hurt. That could hurt or help him. I don't know.
Yeah,
like we don't know. We don't know how that's going to affect his body.
Does that instantly put him in contention for comeback player of the year?
No. I think so.
Or do you have to be injured for that?
I don't know how that works.
Given why he didn't play, no.
I think he chose not to play. Yeah, I don't think he would be eligible for that, but I don't know.
Sam Darnold throws for
videos.
800 yards. Well, Darnold, he's absolutely going to improve. He had 2865 last year in only 13 games, so he's surely going to get into the 3000s, but 3,800 and over, that's quite the leap. He would need to be averaging about 240 yards a game, where he only had about 220 last year, and I think he's still going to have his struggles in that division. They're all basically circling around the defensive side of the ball in the AFC East, and that's where you got to win first as your division. So I project Darnold probably around 3,650 for this coming season in his sophomore year. I'm going to take the under. Timmy?
Yeah, I'm the same. Brand new offense. He's going to struggle a little bit this year, but Bell will certainly help. But I'm going under.
Fox.
Yep. I'm going under, and the reasons you gave, Josh, I'll add a little more to that. I don't think he's going to have a significant sophomore slump. I think he's going to kind of remain stagnant. And again, with a new offense, to piggyback off of what both Brian and Kyle said, this is receiving core is Jamison Crowder, Robbie Anderson, and Quincy Enunwa.
Hey, Quincy got paid. He's a ball.
Le'Veon Bell might be the best rusher and receiver statistically on this team at the end of the season.
3,800 yards. I'm going to take the under. I know they want to throw the ball out because I think they'll have a hard time running it. I just don't think it's going to go well given the receiving core.
I'm actually going to say over, but not by much. I know I say maybe 3,800 yards seems about right. And then it's because what Kyle said about Adam Gase. I mean, he's the guy that wants to throw the football, and they're going to throw the football a lot. I think that's going to be the same thing. I don't know if they're going to have success as a team, but I think Donald's going to be. This is going to be his coming out. I don't say coming out, but more of his. Okay, this is what he's made of kind of party, So I'm going to say over, but by a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to say under. I think they're lacking the receiving talent out there, but I will say that he's going to come close. I will say I think Josh, you said 3,650. I'm going to say 3,700. I think he's gonna wait. The line was 3,600, right? I'm sorry,
38.
Okay, yeah, 30. I think 3,700. I think he's going to really,
right
I think they're gonna want to showcase him like Steven said, but I do think Le'Veon Bell is going to be showcased a little bit more because they paid for him and they're gonna want to use him. So I think he's going to be used a lot. But I'm gonna say just slightly under. But I think Sam Darnold's gonna take some leaps and bounds this year. I really do.
And shout out to BJ Nixon, our chat here. He just said, for what it's worth, Tannehill also threw for 4K in Gaze's system, so it should be pretty damn interesting to see what Darnold can do now.
I think Tannehill has some better receiving threats there. He had Jarvis Landry, obviously, but
honestly, I would take Darnold over Tannehill any damn day.
Yeah.
Quinnen Williams, Big Q coming over from Alabama. He's gonna have 4.5 sacks. Well, look at the Jets last year. They had 39 sacks as a unit across 12 players. That's about 3.25 sacks a player if you're going to average it out. And playing nose tackle in the 3-4, that's pretty demanding trying to get your sacks as it is. And he's going to be playing nose tackle, I would imagine, with Leonard and Henry Anderson playing the edge. So I think Q can end up with 3.5, which is pretty damn good in a rookie year. The tackles for losses also add up, but for 4.5, that's pretty steep for rookie nose tackle in this system. I'm going to go under on this one, guys. Timmy?
We're talking about Big Q on 4QQ.
Big Q.
Well, his defensive coordinator is Greg Williams, who I'm big fan of. I'm going to go over. Go over. Say 5 or 6 sacks.
I agree with Tim. You guys know my philosophy. Do it within the trenches. And I think Q is a tremendous talent, and Greg Williams is a very good defensive coordinator. He's going to find a way to get this guy up the middle and at the teams, other teams' quarterback. And given the teams that he's going to be playing in his division and the quarterbacks that he's going to be playing, he's going to have opportunities to get sacks, especially against the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. So I'm taking the over.
Wait a second. The Jets are still playing a 3-4 under Greg Williams, or are they going to a 4-3?
3-4.
Yeah, I looked on our lads and it was a 3-4 lineup, so that's just what I went by.
So he's playing nose, that zero technique in a 3-4.
Right.
I'm actually going to go slightly over only because of his get off and his ability. I think Greg Williams is an attacker. So I think he wants to get pressure up the middle, and that's the guy to do it. I don't think it'll be by much, but I can see him going over 4.5.
I'll probably eat my words. Jason?
I'm going over. I'm a huge fan of Quinn Williams. I think he was the best player in the draft, as you guys know. And then plus that defensive front, that front is a very, very solid front. I think even though he's playing those, I think Leonard Williams could take a little bit of double teams and things like that. And I think that's going to help him a little bit in that scheme. And plus he's got Greg Williams as his coach. So I'm definitely going over.
Yeah, I've been wrestling over this. I'm gonna say slightly under. I'm gonna say it's 4. I think it was 4.5 is the line. I'm just gonna say 4. I think one thing I worry about Quinnen Williams, and I mentioned this during the draft process, was I mentioned his conditioning. That's just one of the things I've always wondered with him. I saw him kind of puffing and huffing against Georgia. I saw him puffing and huffing against the Clemson, and they were playing a 4-3, so he had some help, So going one-on-one against some guys in the NFL, I think it's gonna may catch up to him, especially early on in the year. So I don't know. I'm gonna say just slightly under, but I do like Steven kind of stole my thunder a little bit with going against the team. I think he's going to get all 4 sacks against probably the Buffalo Bills or the Miami Dolphins. I mean, those offensive lines are horrible. So he might get all 4 of his sacks against those teams right there. So, but yeah, I'm going to say slightly under just based off his conditioning.
Good stuff, guys. And then we just got the, what do we got here? The Bills to clean up with, and then the Dolphins.
Shit.
So going to start it off with Josh Allen, and he's going to end the season with 60.5 completion percentage. Well, last year, Allen, only 2 games last year, individual games, did he actually have over 60 completion percentage. Those are blowout wins. Those are blowout wins to the Vikings and Dolphins. So, yeah, and I have a lot of faith in Cole Beasley upping his completion percentage. I'm not going to lie, but Josh Allen, way too much of a sporadic play style for me to fathom for the entire year, 60.5 right now. He's too wild until he gets it down. So, Tim, I'm taking the under on this.
Hobbs, if you're watching, you're still my man, Hobbs. I'm gonna go under. His running backs are over 30 years old, starting backs. They signed 4 brand new offensive linemen. Oh, excuse me, they signed 3 offensive linemen brand new, and they drafted 1 rookie. Ooh, under.
I hope Hobbs is watching. I hope all Buffalo Bills fans are watching.
Oof.
This is a definite under. I've complained about his accuracy from day one, the completion percentage, and that is something that you just don't correct. 52.8 completion percentage. That's what he had last season. In 2010, that's how far you got to go back to find somebody who shit the bed on 32 quarterbacks, 32 starting quarterbacks. Jimmy Clausen and Derek Anderson did that. Brandon Weeden in 2013, he did that. Bottom of the barrel, completion percentage. Let me explain just a little bit. Take a little time here because you know how much I love Josh Allen, Josh. Chad Henne, Geno Smith, Jake Locker, Blaine Gabbert, Tavares Jackson, Matt Moore, Brock Osweiler, Trevor Siemian, Ryan Mallett, Brian Hoyer never completed
legends
a percentage at that low Jamarcus Russell and Tim Tebow are the only 2-foot quarterbacks in the last decade that actually went under 50% completion percentage. I just gave you a list of names.
So basically, a fat guy,
quarterbacks, and Wendy's drive-through people at this point in their careers. Josh Allen is not getting to 60%. Sorry.
So basically, a fat guy and 2 running backs. Gotcha. All right.
Look, I'm not gonna dump on Josh Allen as much as I really love to, because
dump on him.
Here's my thing. It's gonna be under, and let me just read something for you. Here are the potential Week 1 starters at receiver for the Buffalo Bills. You have John Brown, you have Zay Jones, and you have Cole Beasley in the slot. Now, everyone talked about, we'll get Josh Allen some weapons. If we upgrade the offense, it'll be better. Did you really upgrade? Did you? I don't think you did. I think you're just as bad as you were last year. Nothing against John Brown or Cole Beasley, but that's not moving the needle. You talk about the offensive line, you got 4 potential new starters. And your left tackle, I don't know if he's really an NFL left tackle. He may be a guard impersonating as a tackle. And then you talk about, well, he loaded up at running back. Yeah, because you're going to need to run the ball 400 fucking times this season. Because you're not going to be able to get anything through the air. I think it's going to be under. I don't think it's gonna be much better than it was last year.
I like Josh Allen. I mean, like you guys said, there's a lot of uncertainties with this team.
Come on,
even with the upgrades, I think he'll improve in his completion percentage because he's got a little more experience in the NFL. But I still think there's some work to be done. I mean, no doubt. But I'm gonna say under.
Go ahead, Brian. Fox is killing me. He's egging people on to just shit on Josh Allen. Look at that shit-eating grin.
Jason never keeps the same energy. He likes to play it really safe. So let me just say,
an energy check.
Jason's even the whole fucking Browns thing going 10-6. Even though he's on there, he supports BWO night. Anyways, but okay, yeah, Josh Allen. There's no way in hell he's going to rise up 8.5 percentage points in his passing percentage. I don't know if anyone's ever done that. I mean, that would be unbelievable. If he did. I think he's going to improve because he's been in the league, and if he doesn't improve, he's going to be gone. So there's really nowhere else for him to go but up. So he's going to be well under, but he's going to improve. And yeah, I mean, everyone has pretty much said it. They didn't improve at all. Wide receiver. I didn't even know they picked up TJ Yeldon. I mean, it seems like they have a pretty good, solid running back core, but yeah, he's not going to improve to 60% of his passes. That would be if he does that, he might win the MVP. He's doing something, and the Bills are in the playoffs.
I was gonna go ahead.
Get to 57%, which is still horrendous. If you can get to 57%, I think that's cause for celebration.
That's cause.
I was gonna say, if he actually does that, since we're all on the Josh Allen is just gonna shit the bed this year, I think we should just pay a little respect to Hobbs when you do something like goofy or something like that. But
I already have a bet with Hobbs and 2MW. I already have a bet with him that Josh Allen is going to complete under 60%. So I'm surprised. So it's actually interesting we're doing this right now. Hobbs thinks he's going to complete over 60% of his passes next year.
Yeah, I think Hobbs said something like 63.
Yeah, it's like 63. Are you kidding me? At 11, a 12% increase? If that happens, the Bills are in the Super Bowl. That's
my time with Hobbs, I've learned anything he says to bet opposite. So,
yeah, when Hobbs said that Nathan Peterman was a good quarterback because of preseason, I just literally mute. He is muted for life for me, but that's just me though. That's me. Sorry.
LaShawn McCoy starts 12.5 games this year, fellas. Well, since 2010, he's averaged 14 games played each season. And, LaShawn, he's the type that I think he's focused on records. He's focused on his rushing yards right now. He's eyeing that top tier list and just watching his name climb and climb. And you're damn right he's going to try to play as much as he can for the rest of his career. I'm taking the over on this one. Tim?
It will be over unless if he's on another team like the Philadelphia Eagles, which I predict. Starts with the Bills. Is a crowded backfield. You got Frank Gore. I think T.J. Yeldon will be the lead back going into the season. So I'm going under.
Fun fact: LaShawn McCoy started 13 games last season. Had 161 rushes, 514 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That means his ass got benched. And they went out and they got Frank Gore, who was beyond the twilight of his career at this point, who had 14 starts for the Miami Dolphins and led them in rushing. They drafted Devin Singletary, and they got T.J. Yeldon. There's no way in hell he starts 12 games. He might not make it through 10.
I'm about to say, of course, you're going to get bottled up when you have what you have at quarterback and receiver. You know that's not going to be a threat at all. So wait, this was starting 12.5 or playing in 12?
Starts. Yeah.
Under. I forgot how old he is, but I know age is father time is starting to catch up. I know he's gonna, play hard and all of that, but I gotta say, on offense, it's gonna be tough sledding for the Bills. So I think they're gonna try to utilize their 10 running backs they have. So under.
I'm definitely going under. It's because of who they added in the offseason, and plus too. I mean, like Cal said, he's getting up there in age. I'm gonna also say that he might get traded. I can see him getting traded. Honestly, they're going with their youth and try to get some more assets for him. So I'm definitely gonna say under.
I'm surprised at this. I'm gonna say over because LaShawn McCoy is clearly the best running back on this team. Now whether how many carries he's gonna get, I don't know. They may start him and bench him the whole game. Who knows? But I think he's gonna get play or start more than 12 games. Frank Gore is, like you said, Fogg, is in the twilight of his career. T.J. Yeldon really started 5 games last year with Leonard Fournette doing whatever the hell he was doing in Jacksonville. And I like T.J. Yeldon. I think he's a good back. I think he's a good complementary back. But I think he's going to start like 14, 15 games this year because he's the best back they got. So, honestly, on most days, he might be the best damn player they have on offense. Because Josh Allen's the best player on offense. Cole Beasley, is he the best player on offense, Tim? I don't think so. Zay Jones, Crazy Zay. No, I don't think he's the best player on that offense. LaShawn McCoy is probably the best player on the offense. So he's going to start. I think he's going to start way over. I can give him like 15, barring injury.
All right, should be interesting. Got a little change of opinion here. So last one for Buffalo. It's the new guy, Ed Oliver, coming in the first round. Is he going to have 10.5 tackles for loss this season? Looking over the numbers for Buffalo, it seems like the linebackers in the secondary really prevailed in Buffalo's 4-3 because Jerry Hughes led the team with 13 tackles for loss, but the next 3 were Matt Milano with 12, Lorenzo Alexander with 11, and Jordan Poyer with 9. So honestly, I think he still will be a force down that middle, but I think I see Ed Oliver around 8.5 tackles for loss in his rookie year. So I'm going to take the under on this one, Timmy.
Yeah, I agree with you, Josh. Same thing. I think he's gonna have a very good rookie year. There's a lot of good pieces around him and defense to accomplish that. But I'm going under.
I'm going to take the over on this one. And for the reasons you said, Hughes, Milano, they got Edmonds. There's a lot of pieces around him that's going to allow him to really use his skill set, his athleticism, and his defensive ability. Remember, this guy was a top 5 pick midway through the college football season. I don't think his skill set diminished in any way, and going to a team that is much better prepared defensively than they are offensively, I'm going to take the over on this.
I will take the over, actually. I think he's going to be a pretty good 3 technique as a penetrator up in that 4-3 defense. I think guards are going to have a hard time with him one-on-one. I think they have enough pieces around to ensure that he does get those quality one-on-one matchups against guards and centers. I'll take the under.
So will the defensive rookie of the year have over 10 tackles for loss? Absolutely, he will. I mean, he's in the perfect scheme and a perfect team. I mean, I think that's easy. I think that's too low. Honestly, I'm saying he's gonna have a more like 15 tackles for loss. That's just me.
Yeah,
So, yeah, over.
I think he's gonna have a phenomenal year. I think Ed Oliver was I feel like for whatever reason was overlooked in this draft. At one point, he was the best player in this draft in a lot of people's eyes, and I think he's going to continue. I think he has a chip on his shoulder. And I think he's going to dominate this year. I think it's probably going to be one of the brighter spots on that team. I'm going to say over 10.5 sacks or 10.5 tackles for loss, I should say. And I think I agree with Kyle. He's a great for that system with the two technique in that offense. So, defense. But yeah, I think he's going to get at least 12 tackles for loss. So he's great one-on-one. That's what I love about him. He's great one-on-one.
Yeah, just remember, I think the big hold up on him was could he keep his weight up? And his overall size. I think he's like 6'1" or something like that. 6'2".
Yeah.
I mean, thinking about his athleticism, they worked him out at linebacker at the combine too. So he has athleticism.
He can get the edge if they want to. They can put outside on the edge on the end if they want to.
Going to clean it up with a few of the Dolphins questions here. And the very first one is all about Fitzmagic. Fitzmagic starts 3.5 games for the Dolphins this year. I have to take the immediate under right away. I mean, he can be a very solid backup for the Dolphins, but the trade was meaningless if you don't start Josh Rosen right away, in my opinion. So I'm going with the under.
Same, go my under. Josh Rosen will be given every chance. And every little mistake he makes, he'll still be he will remain the starting quarterback for the whole season.
We're talking about Fitz tragic here. Fitz tragic. Really? Take the under. First of all, anything dealing with the Dolphins, take the under.
Ooh.
We're gonna go under because I'll tell you what, if Fitzpatrick starts more than that many games and Josh Rosen isn't hurt, not only was that a bad trade, but they're taking a quarterback with that number 1 pick next year. If Josh Rosen can't wrestle that job away, I don't know what to tell you.
You said 3.5 games?
3.5.
I'm gonna say over. I think they're not gonna throw him in right away. I think Fitzmagic is gonna actually have a couple of decent games where it's gonna all right, let's just hold off a little bit on this guy and putting Rosen in there. Let's just let it ride a little bit long, kind of like he did in Tampa Bay. He's gonna have a couple of good games, and I say maybe around week 5, they're all right, let's put Rosen in. I'm finished out the season, so I'm gonna go over.
Yeah, I'm gonna say way under. They're not gonna. I mean, I agree with Tim. They're gonna give Rosen every opportunity to win this job, and if he can't win this job, they're screwed. I think if Fitzpatrick plays, if he starts more than 5 games, or something, and like Kyle said, he's not hurt. Rosen's not hurt. Holy shit! Yeah, it's gonna be a shit. I mean, it's already a shit show in Miami, but it's gonna be like a dump show in Miami. It's gonna be crazy. So yeah, he better not start more than 3 games. So yeah, I'm gonna go under with this one.
Jason, I don't know if you saw Fox, but he was telling you to get your dunce cap after your Fitzmagic statement. So
Sorry.
We got Devontae Parker having 750 receiving yards this season. Highest season he's had is 744 in 2016. Riddled with injuries, blessed with another short season with Miami. This has to be Devontae Parker's year. He's got the frame. I believe he's 6'3" in size. He can absolutely be that outside threat. He had all the talent in the world at Louisville too. I don't understand what the hell has been his issue. Maybe he has the McCagnon personality and he just couldn't get along with Adam Gase. Maybe something will shift over there, but this has got to be his year. I'm going to take the surprising over on Devontae Parker. I'm taking it. Tim, I'm taking it.
Yeah, I'm with you, Josh. I like Devontae Parker this year. He has 2 years remaining on his contract. I like the fact how they got Kenny Steele, and I think Mike Gesicki at the tight end position. I think he's gonna come up big this season. So with those good pieces around him, I think the Rosen to Devontae Parker is gonna be very solid this season. I'm going over.
I think the question really should have been take the 0 off the 750, put a decimal point between the 7 and the 5.
Where's the respect?
And that be the question on how many games this guy actually plays over and under. I don't think he started more than 8 games or played more than 8 games in his career thus far. So can he stay on the field is the question. After that, I think we all agree that this team is going to be a complete dumpster fire. I mean, they will be selecting 1 or 2 in the draft next season. Why the hell would I think a guy that hasn't played even a half a season is going to catch for 750 yards? Nope, take the under. Doja, take everything under in Miami.
I'm taking the over here. Although I don't think he'll play the full 16. Although
Apple juice.
I think the Dolphins are going to be garbage and be picking in the top 3. I think this is going to be your lone bright spot is Devontae Parker. I don't think he'll eclipse it by much, but I think he'll do enough to get to say 800, 850. I'll take the over.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna say over 2. I think he's like I'll say he's probably the only big star weapon. Like they're gonna feed him. They're gonna feed him a lot, obviously. So I'm definitely gonna say over.
Yeah, I'm gonna say way over. I think he's at 1,000. They're gonna force feed the hell out of him. like whoever's throwing him the football, they're going to throw him the football. Like this is just it's gonna be a weird average. He's gonna have honestly, it will not shock me if this guy had 90 catches for 900 and something yards and the average 10 yards a catch because they're just force feeding him the whole time, and he's probably gonna be the only one that's open. And Steven, he did play 12 games, started 12 games, and believe in 2017, and he had 670 yards. So if that's the number, if 750 is the number, I believe he would have eclipsed that if he would have played one more game. So I mean, I think he's gonna get it. They're gonna force feed the hell out of him. And Kenyon Drake's the running back. Yeah, let's pass the ball, please. Let's pass. He's gonna eclipse 1,000 yards.
Well, Brian, speaking of Kenyon Drake, does he have 950 rushing yards this year?
Yeah, let's pass the football this year.
Fun fact, as Fox would like to say, he had 535 rushing yards last year. And if you want to divvy up Gore's carries, which would be about 72 apiece for Balaj and Drake, if you want to split them. And then let's keep his yards per carry the same, about 4.5 for Drake. 4.5 times the 70, add that to his 535. We're seeing about 850 rushing yards. So simple math tells me, nope, under.
I'm going with under, not because of his not only because his yards last year is going to be a new offense, but I like Kalen Ballage. Last season, giving him more opportunities toward the second half, he was averaging over 5.5 yards per carry, and he's a big boy. So I'm going with Kalen Ballage to take over a lot of them snaps.
I am proud of you, Tim. Everybody applaud Tim because that was fantastic. It is the first time that we've been doing the show together that you actually stole my thunder on something.
I'm behaving. See, I'm behaving.
Fun fact, though.
You kind of went off the rails there early in the show, but yeah, he's back. He's back. He's back to where he needs to be.
The Miami Dolphins have only had. It's crazy to say only, but in 10 years, only 5 running backs on their team have actually rushed for over 900 yards. Forget 1,000, 900 yards. Jay Ajayi in 2016, Lamar Miller in 2014, Reggie Bush in 2011 and 2012, Ricky Williams in 2009, and Ronnie Brown in 2008. And this offensive line isn't even close to being what it was for Ajayi in 2016. There is not a chance in hell that Kenyon Drake rushes for over 950. And like Tim said, Ballage, he was remember Frank Gore started more games than Drake. Frank Gore led the team in rushing, and Ballage led the team in yards per attempt. It's not happening. Take the under. Under Everything Miami under, including the team.
Under, because this offense just smells of a shit show. And outside Devontae Parker, I don't trust anything on this offense. So I think they're going to rotate with Ballage and even Myles Gaskin, who they kind of stole in the 7th round. I don't think they'll get there, no. Under.
Yeah, I'm going to say under too. That was the point I was going to bring up about Myles Gaskin. It's a multi-back system, so they're going to use multiple backs. He's not going to get 900 yards. Not going to happen. So definitely under.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, like I just said before, they're gonna feed Devontae Parker, and they're gonna forget about running backs this year. Running backs is just not gonna be a thing in Miami. So, and yeah, like Jason said, they're a multi-system backfield. So Kenyon Drake's never been he's never been the number one back on any system, even in Alabama. So he's not gonna start now in Miami in the NFL. So yeah, it's gonna be way under. I mean, I don't think he's gonna be eclipse what he got last year. He got 535 as the starter. So. Or he started this year. So, yeah.
There you have it, folks. Over under for the AFC East. And that looks like we're wrapped up for the night. I went a little overboard, but for the most part, we bring it every night. So you're going to have to effing deal with it. Nah, we're just kidding. Just come join us next week. If you enjoy our company, folks, we'll be back same time, 8 p.m. Eastern. You know where to find us. If you haven't already, facebook.com/4thquarterquarrel. We'll see you later, knuckleheads.